This was my dad 4 months before he got diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic cancer in November 2024. And believe me, once November 2024 hit, 4 months later, he was much worse than this. And you can see in this picture alone, he's trying to smile for the picture, but you can see his smile is sort of laced with pain. And I don't have any pictures beyond this simply because it was not a good time. Given you're in a similar situation to me, I want to show you the first 3 things that I did within the first 2 weeks for my dad. And hopefully this will allow you to get it done faster and better than me. And these are all things that I think very much contributed in the long term to my dad healing, which this is him now in 2026, where he was healthy enough to go into the Grand Canyon with me and my brother, hike 75% of the way in and out, of course. His cancer now undetectable on scans. Okay, so now what is the first thing that I did? Honestly, the first thing, forget the 3 things. What you need to do, if you have not already, is get medical help. If my dad had not went to the oncologist first, if we had not found a good hospital, if we had not found a good oncologist, he would be dead. No doubt about it. He would have died, I don't know, probably within a couple of weeks because his cancer was that bad. He couldn't even sleep 1 hour. He was walking around the house in circles, his house, in pain. And he was starting to get to the point where he was so weak, he could not even walk. So I urge you, if you have not already, seriously get the medical help. If you don't know what is a good hospital, of course, just go online. There's certain places that will rank what is the best hospital. Just look for a hospital in your area that has very good reputation. And then once you do that, you also look into, okay, well, what is the specific cancer that you have? Hopefully, if you got it diagnosed already, like my dad has head and neck cancer. That's what it's considered, right? His origin is in the nose. So we looked, okay, what is the good hospital? And then on top of that, okay, we look at the head and neck division. Are they having a good reputation? And you can do something similar. Once you have that all cleared up, now we can get into the first 3 things that you, the caregiver, can do on top of those treatments that they should be getting. And let me tell you this, your help as a caregiver, as someone who's trying to help someone with cancer, is just as important, and in my opinion, more important than the oncology team, anyone else. Because think about this, how much time do you spend at the doctor's office? Maybe like 1 hour, right? 1 hour per like a week. You spend essentially the other 23 hours with this person that you're caring for, right? So, okay, well, so what, right? Simply, you know them better. And knowing them better and being able to observe different things from them, you can also communicate those things to the oncology team. You can do research. You can ask about the oncology team. You can coordinate things for the person trying to heal. And maybe even things like their diet, their sleep schedule, their exercise schedule. And these, of course, are all things that I did for my dad. And well, are they the thing that healed him? No, literally they are not. But did they absolutely support his healing and his treatments? Yes, they did. And how do I know this works, right? Well, look at the gap. The doctor said, oh, he probably lived 1 year with treatment. Well, I mean, he's literally exceeded that already. So not to say that this is a guaranteed of any outcome, but whatever you're doing at home, whatever you do to help will absolutely improve the outcome of whoever you're caring for, whatever that outcome may be, right? You simply just want to increase the quality. You want to learn about their cancer and their treatments as much as possible. So come to the oncologist appointments with as many questions as you could possibly think of. You can do your online research to come with those questions and also do your online research about the cancer and the treatments. And the reason why you do this is, again, you have that communication, put together what you know about the person that has the cancer. Because I mean, I assume you're very close with them. Communicate to the oncologist, find those pros and cons, and then help the person that has cancer decide what is right for them. And of course, they make the final decision because they have the cancer and it's their body, whatnot. So they have the least regrets and not in a situation that's like, you don't want them to regret anything, right? But that's the first thing I did. Now, okay, what does that allow you to do? Well, for my dad specifically, I found like, okay, well, he has nasopharyngeal cancer, NPC. And in particular, his cancer, and the oncologist said this, it's related to a virus, EVB. It also likes to eat sugar. Like it's very dependent on sugar as a fuel. And some of the side effects is like he could potentially have trouble eating, swallowing, hearing, maybe with eyesight. So those are all things that I would look out for as well, right? That's why it's helpful. And then if you do some research on the treatments, you just know like, oh, what side effects can you also look out for, right? Like for example, chemo, what you probably look for nausea, you look for dizziness or loss of appetite, change in taste, maybe like pins and needles in the hands, which you call what the medical field calls neuropathy, because the chemo is causing some damage. You want to look for, okay, what are the common side effects you can look out for? What are the other options if you haven't picked a particular treatment yet that you're going to ask about? And what is the goal of the treatment? So you can now look at like, okay, what are markers for success? Communicate those things to your medical team. Now, where do you look for these? Of course, you look into books, you look online, you look into podcasts, you ask AI questions. Be careful with AI, I would say. Just don't let it recommend anything or draw conclusions. Just pure information is probably okay, and make sure you fact check it. You can watch the videos, and of course, once you got all your information, check it with your oncologist because they will know much better and have probably seen this research already. And now you're probably thinking, oh shit, then that's a lot of stuff that you would have to do. If you want to move as fast as possible, and you want to ask the right questions from the beginning to try to get to a place where I am faster, I do actually have something for you. I created a free community that I put my entire protocol for that I use for my dad to actually heal. On top of that, given it is community, everyone there is in a similar situation to you, which you can like bounce ideas off of. Plus, I also have my top resources and templates that you can just take and go with right away. So if you think that's going to be helpful for you, it's just in the top link description. You can join for free again. So that was about the cancer and the treatments. But now let me give you the last part, which is essential, or my dad literally would not be here. I very, very doubt he would be either he wouldn't be here or he would be in a much, much worse situation and probably in a lot of pain. Not only for everyone in your family's mental health, but actual physical health as well, and particularly for the one that you're caring for. What can you do at home? How can you take back control of your health? So you're not just like, sitting on your hands, hoping for whatever the oncologists are doing to work. No. You do something to actually support it. So what is that thing? I started to learn about, his cancer has all these problems, and I now know about the treatments as well, right? So it's all coming together. I know about the treatment side effects, about the cancer. So, what are the fundamental things that you do? Well, my dad has to eat, he has to sleep, he has to drink water, like all those things, right? So does that mean he needs to take a certain electrolyte? Does that mean he could take a certain supplement, eat in a certain way, sleep in a certain way, do a certain exercise to mitigate these things, whether it's like, again, chemo, radiation, immunotherapy. And as an example, all the treatments that my dad did lowered his magnesium numbers. So what did I do? I added a magnesium supplement to his diet, and my dad just takes that on a consistent basis. And typically you can ask your oncologist, of course, always make sure you clear any like dietary changes or supplemental changes with them and whoever else in your medical team, because there's certain interactions that you have to make sure are okay. But say if I didn't do this, my dad would just wait, and he would go to the treatments, he would get his blood test, and they'd be like, your magnesium's low, and they'll give it to him in an IV. But think about it, his treatments are only like every couple of weeks, like every 3 weeks. So for that, like probably 2 or 3 weeks prior, he was low on that magnesium. But literally, the oncologist said, our oncologist, these treatments need magnesium to help it work. So you're almost like, I wouldn't say wasting, but you're not using that treatment time as effectively as possible without getting these things or doing these things at home. Could that also mean doing some fasting, right? If you think that would help you. Could it mean like eating no sugar or no carbs like my dad? Because that's what we decided, because his cancer likes to eat sugar. But of course, it's based on those two things, the research that you just done in the first couple of weeks. And now, so what can you do as a caregiver to implement these things? Because of course, you don't want to just like, you have to do like XYZ, A, B, C, D, whatever things, because they're going to be overwhelmed. Think about it. They're already overwhelmed. They have this cancer. It's going to be very hard to them to get onto a new habit, because think about, like, honestly, even think about yourself, right? It's very hard for you to start new habits. Think about how hard it is for them, given that they already have cancer. So you drip these things in very slowly. And I did this for my dad. And that's also for safety. Being slow, you observe. Like I see in my dad, like, is he feeling better? Is he not feeling better? Is he looking better? Is he not looking better? And on top of that, I also I literally asked him almost on the daily, like, how are you feeling? Or how did you feel after you took this thing? How did you feel after you ate this thing? How did you feel after like whatever, anything, this exercise? And you build like a mental map of like, these things are working at home to support the treatments and just general healing of his body. So those are the 3 things. This is what both me and my dad think was one of the main contributors to helping him essentially beat the odds that the doctors gave him and get to a state of being undetectable. Now, if you found this video very helpful, YouTube also thinks this video will be most helpful for you to watch next. Alternatively, you can watch my latest video right here.